Today is February 25, as we were talking about kanina, and we are commemorating the 39th anniversary of the EDSA People Power Revolution. Go ahead.
Let's discuss this further with Filipino public historian Xiao Chua. Prof, good morning and thanks for joining us again today.
Yeah. Prof, thank you for joining us.
Inyong dalawa at sa lahat ng ating mga kapatid.
Yeah, Prof, let's start off. Now, what's the significance of this EDSA specifically? This is the second EDSA, I think, with Marcos in power.
Well, naging extra significant because they only made it a special working holiday. So parang ang nangyari pa dyan, instead na lumipas lang, lalo tuloy pinag-usapan at nagkaroon pa ng bold move ang maraming eskwelahan. According to the count of Philippine Institute for Student Democracy, there are already about more than 400 schools who are suspended their classes already. So, napakarami po. So, parang lalo pang pinag-usapan ang people power because of this.
Parang lalo,
so, I'm very happy.
Parang lalo uminit pa, no, Prof?
Oo nga po, yun na nga po yun.
Pero Prof, why do you think hindi naman biglaan, pero why do you think parang nagkaroon ng bold move ngayon, no? At this point in time? Because we all can remember na simula na downgrade ang EDSA, ang significance ng EDSA revolution since Duterte administration up until now. And now, nagkaroon nga ng biglang bold move itong mga eskwelahan and other civic organizations. Why do you think that's so, Prof?
Well, dati naman kasi holiday naman talaga siya. Pero of course, no, parang 2 taon na yata na ang President Marcos Jr. administration ay ginagawa lang itong working holiday. And ako, siguro kailangan tanungin natin ng Lasal, bakit niya naisip at siya naman talaga yung nakuna. Kaya nagka-cascade, nagsunod-sunod yung and I think it's also because we have to realize that the Catholic Church have a big role in People Power Revolution. In the People Power Revolution, si Cardinal Sin, yung mga pari, yung mga madre, hindi dapat nila ito kalimutan.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you about that, Prof, kasi Angela and I also teach on the side, and we have the chance to speak to young minds. And it's surprising to see that despite of the overwhelming majority ni President Marcos and the UNI team, there are still a lot of people who, even if you're not familiar with EDSA per se, but they believe what happened in EDSA. And these are young minds. Now, what do you think is happening na biglang nagkaka-pivot in the last 2-3 years recently, na young minds are starting to be interested in these events that happened?
Well, before I answer your question, I'm actually here in front of Camp Crame.
Ayun,
no, parang nangingilabot lang that while we're doing this interview. Actually, we are here in this very historic spot.
Yes.
Where the People Power happened. But anyway, ito nga yung dyan, na yung mga kabataan nakakatuwa dahil it's really, sometimes 39 years, that's already history. Kung World War II yan, history na yan. Ang problem, we have political dynasties. They're still running the show. And so that is why ang problema, nagiging parang it's still an issue today because of that. So dahil nagiging parang contemporary, diba, dahil Marcos ang nakaupo, diba, tapos tungkol sa tatay niya yung people power din, diba, in a way, pagpapatalsik sa kanya. Kaya parang, of course, some people na may mga political interest, ginagamit din yung people power, laban sa kanya. So, but then again, we have to always remind ourselves that itong people power na ito, hindi lang ito sa ilang sektor lang, hindi kahit kaming mga yellows, kaming mga atom, August 21 movement, may papel dyan, hindi lang yan para sa amin. Ito'y para sa buong sambayan ng Pilipino. Ito'y tagumpay nating lahat.
Pero going back dun sa mga few years ago, since the start nga of Duterte administration to this point that we are in right now, what do you think what happened before nung nagkaroon ng disengagement yung mga tao tungkol sa EDSA, and to the point na they latched to that idea of the Duterte administration na oo nga, lang yung EDSA, dito lang sa Metro Manila lang yan, etc. Prof.
Well, tandaan natin na yung frustrations after People Power Revolution, all the frustrations that happened, ay isinisi sa isang political bloc, which is unfair. Kasi, di ba, hindi lang naman yellow lahat ng nakaupong presidente noon. Kaso nangyari, to destroy the narrative of EDSA inilap lahat yung mga problema ng bayan, parang sinabi, sinisi sa isang administrasyon o sa isang pamilya, hindi naman ganun yun. So, pero, the frustrations are real. Kasi nga, ang hirap din pala ng road para sa pagpapanday ng demokrasya. Hindi siya madali. Kaya kailangan maging realistic tayo. Sobrang kasing taas ng expectation ng people power na after matapos si Marcos, gaganda na yung buhay natin. But that is a process. Hanggang ngayon, ating tinatahak. So, that's why kailangan natin ng inspirasyon, lalo na ng people power, para sabihin natin sa sarili natin, kaya natin itong mga hamon na ito. Wala tayong hindi pwedeng marating. At yun naman yung nangyari nung EDSA People Power. Napatalsik natin ang diktador, which was almost impossible to happen at that time.
Yeah, Prof, you mentioned kasi we were talking about in disengagement of people. History will tell us that the most successful historical accounts or stories came down to a personal level of individual people. You have Jose Rizal,
right.
You have it from the perspective of sa panahon nila Hitler, yung the actual people who were in Auschwitz. And my mom was telling me that maybe the failure of EDSA was people forgot to bring it down to the level of the heroes who fought for that day. Nangyari, naging isang political block ang narrative, imbis na yung lahat na lumaban, the nuns, the priests, everyone who were fighting, hindi na ikwento ng maayos. What is your take on that?
Well, over the years kasi tama yung mama mo, na si June Kitley. Of course, siya ang naggabay, boses na naggabay sa media, sa mga tao dito sa EDSA, June Kitley. Ako po, kailangang makita natin na ang nangyari kasi dyan, kapag tumatagal yung panahon noon, parang nagiging parang simplistic yung kwento natin. So tama, we must go back again to the personal stories of people who went there, bakit sila pumunta doon, what are their personal circumstances.
Yeah.
And there are many books that you can read, Yung People Power, yung puti na libro, pwedeng balikan ng mga mamamayan yun. Pero yun na nga, sana balikan nila. May video na linabas ang recently, yung EDSA 25, hanapin nyo yun.
Correct.
Marami pang iba ng mga documentaries. Ang mga bata, marami namang materials. Ang kailangan sigurong ituro sa kanila, yung critical thinking.
That's right.
Paano i-analyze yung mga napapanood nila, nababasa nila, na kailangan tumingin tayo sa evidence. Di ba?
Yes,
Kung may opinion man tayo about anything, yan din yung tinuturo ng EDSA yung kailangan informed ka, kailangan nakikialam ka, para hindi ka mangmang tungkol sa nangyayari sa bayan mo at may magawa ka.
Parang isang sabi mo lang, kanina dumaan ka sa EDSA, di ba may goosebumps ka, Prof? There was a video that we were playing while you were speaking. It was the helicopter of Colonel Sotelo. Not a lot of people know that story. That ako, when I saw that, nag-goosebumps ako because I was already of right mind and sound age when Colonel Sotelo changed the whole narrative of EDSA with that specific decision, last-minute decision to land. Baka you could tell us more about it para malaman ng kabataan these little heroes that came around.
Ito nga, actually, nasa likuran ko yung ito sa mga heroes ng EDSA, nasa ba si Ed Mercader? Ito yan. Ito Ed Mercader ng Ato. Ito kami sa Ortigas Corner EDSA ngayon mismo. I have goosebumps. Dito nila hinarangan yung mga tangke na papunta dito si General Artemio Tadyar ng Marines. So papunta sila dito para puksain yung mga rebelde pero pinigilan sila ng tao kasi ang order sa Malacanang, lusubin ang Camp Crame para mapulbos ang RAM. Pero ito matindi dyan. Yung sinasabi mo nga, yung in-orderan yun, sigurado yun. Pag yun ang sumunod, yung Air Force, si Colonel Antonio Sotelo, pag yun ang sumunod, talagang patay, ubos ang mga rebelde doon. Pero ubos din ang mga tao. Maraming mamamatay doon, maraming collateral damage pag nangyari yun. So ang order sa kanila is strike. Pero ang ginawa ho nila, hindi ho sila nag-strike. Alam nyo, nung na-intercept ng Nina Ramos yun, alam nyo, nagpamisa na si Enrile Nagpamisa na sa Enrile, nagbasa na ng Bible si Ramos kasi protestante. They really thought that they're going to die. Pero sabi nga nila, nung umikot na yung helicopter ni Sotelo dun sa grounds ng Camp Aguinaldo, naghiyawan na yung tao, bababa sila. So, nung nagkaroon na ng air power, yung mga rebels, yung mga RAM, ang nangyari doon, inutusan nila si Major Hotchkiss yata yun, hindi ako nagkakamali sa rango niya, to strike Malacanang. So, meron silang na para lang takutin sina Marcos, no? At sumuko na. At ang nangyari doon, may napatay silang mga 2 fighting cocks. Yun lang. Pero not to kill anyone, no? Not to kill any human being just to give them a scare. So yun ang turn around din yun ng EDSA Revolution. Isa sa mga turning point yun na may air support na at na-realize na ni Marcos na bilang na yung oras nila sa Malacanang.
Alright, sige. I'm sure busy ka today, Prof. But thank you so much for giving us your time for today. Ingat po kayo, Professor Chow Chua.
God bless po sa inyong lahat at mabuhay po ang sambayan ng Pilipino.